for instance, pain is much more pain and joy is much more joy.
Well, it's complete. It's what it is. Nothing stops it.
Yeah. And how is it for this Tony? If are much pain?
No, there's no story.
Huh?
There's no story.
There's no story.
Liberation is the sudden liberation from the imprisonment of apparently being in a separate story. It's the end of story. There's no time, there's no past, there's no future. All there is this. What is.
And if there's, for instance, much more pain than if I am a person, is it hard to handle?
No, there isn't anybody handling it. There isn't anybody dealing with anything anymore. There isn't something that's separate from the pain that now has to deal with it. There's just pain.
Okay.
An aspirin might be taken, or a splint, or whatever. Those things happen. But there isn't anybody that has to deal with the actual pain. There just is the pain. Like with thinking, all the time there's a me. The me takes delivery of the thinking, takes it on, is aware of it, and then takes notice of that thinking and gets locked into the thought and gives the thought energy. The thought arises, the me believes it, and then there's a ring of energy that's formed. Oh, it's like the CD. He doesn't love me anymore, and that goes on. So that's what happens in the unnatural reality of separation. Because there's something that's separate that's receiving the thought. After liberation, thought arises, but there's no one listening.
Okay.
So thought arises, but because there's no one listening, it simply falls back from where it came, nothing.
And if this Tony Parsons feels pain, there's no problem, or not?
Well, there isn't a Tony Parsons anymore, so there isn't anything that would have a problem with the pain, but there is pain.
Okay.
It's the same as that there. That whatever's happening there is just happening. It's not happening to anyone. But what's been added there on, let's say there, I'm presuming, what's been added on is something that thinks what is happening too. Like at the moment, there's, the me is sitting on, there are me's in this room sitting on a chair. So sitting on the chair is happening to me. That's the story. I know that I'm sitting on a chair. I'm aware that I'm sitting on a chair. It's happening. So somewhere the texture and the weight of sitting on a chair is separate from this thing that knows it's sitting on a chair. When that thing that thinks it knows it's sitting on a chair is no more, all that's left is sitting on a chair. Now that, to somebody who thinks they want to become enlightened and float up into the clouds in a miasma of pink fireworks, this is really boring. What's amazing about sitting on a chair? Well, when you're not there, give me a ring. Because it's absolutely stunning. It's stunning.
But even in liberation, sorrow still can
Yeah.
happen, depression still
Yeah.
can happen.
But not to it.
Let's say
there's something missing
bad
there.
feelings can happen.
Yeah, but there's something gone now. There's something that isn't there. Me.
Yeah.
But it just happens in space. It just happens in freedom, in free fall. Anything can happen in that. But not to a local thing anymore. There's nothing local. There's just what is. It's freedom. It's called freedom. F-R-E. It's wild. It's wild. It can't be imagined. The me can't get this. The me won't recognise this. The me can hear about this thing about sitting on the chair, and it thinks, well, what's that? great achievement.
When this liberation is seen, or however you call this, does it mean that
it isn't seen?
Experience.
There's nothing there. No, it isn't seen experience. There's nothing left.
Or nothing's left. But would from that point on, would life change then, or does life go on?
It doesn't need to. It's perfect.
By assuming that
it was only before, just before, that it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Just before, when the me was there, it wasn't perfect. When the me collapses, whee!
But I assume as long as the me was there, it was probably the whole life.
Oh.
The whole life was determined by the seeker, by the me.
Yeah, deep misery.
And if this now falls away, well, would they still, well, whatever, working at a company and whatever, seeking every quarter to whatever grow market share and so on, does it still make sense to continue this, or would it change somehow?
I didn't hear much of that. Life seems to be there and would appear to carry on. Of course it doesn't. There isn't anything carrying on. There just is what there is. There is only what is. But there's nothing now that is separate from what is. So there's total in loveness.
Was there a change for you when it happened?
No, it didn't change for me. I died. There's no one left. You're only pretending to be there. This pretense has dropped away. You can't know this. It's unimaginable. Don't even try.
How then can the me die?
It was never there in the first place. So you could say in another way that liberation or the death of the me is the end of the idea that there was anything there. It's the end of the idea that there was anything actually happening called me. When suddenly the me collapses, there is a recognition at that point, just at the end of the story of me, there's a recognition at that point that there never was a me, there never was anything to find, there never was anything to be liberated, because all there is already is free. So there's a lot of laughter that can arise about the joke of there being a me.
Anything I can do?
No, because you are me. The me can't do anything because the me is rushing around trying to find something to do. And there isn't anything to do. This is it. Why would there be any need to do anything? This is already complete, so why would there be anything needed to change? The problem with the seeker is the seeker lives in a horizontal, in a story that's going around on a rail in a train and thinks that it could have a better journey. So it's always trying to make everything different. When that energy of trying to make things, or trying to be enlightened, or whatever, or fulfilled, when that collapses, it just is fulfilled. It's only the me that is in the what's next world. What's next? There isn't anything next. When what's next dies, there's nothing